This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You are watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
All right, so yesterday, Tyson Fury, he posted a picture on his social media, and I got it from Twitter, with the Tick-Tock, which of course you see on the screen right now, with 3 days. Now, I took that and I put it on the community post here on YouTube because I wanted to gauge a lot of your reaction to Tyson Fury doing that. But of course, the image that I showed you, it didn't show everything because Tyson, he did put a couple of clock symbols, emojis on the top of that as well. Now, just by going on what it is that Tyson Fury says, 3 days left. Yes, the deadline, the so-called deadline at least, is this Saturday. So some of the reaction that people are talking about when it comes to Fury and Joshua, how a date and venue should be presented to both teams and whatever else by this Saturday. Now, the reaction is quite varied going in the comment section. The overwhelming majority of people are going, well, quite clearly that Tyson, if he walks away, it's a duck, isn't it? Because ultimately, what you have to look at here, and John Fury, he can shout and scream as much as he wants, and everybody else can within Tyson Fury's team, and the money isn't there. Nobody out there is going to put up that kind of money, whatever else. It doesn't matter how much money's there. If somebody somewhere is willing to put on that fight, no matter how much money it is, whatever it is Tyson Fury's going to be getting, Anthony Joshua's going to be getting exactly the same. So if Joshua accepts that kind of money and Fury don't, but what does that tell you? Okay? Some people saying, well, it's got 3 days left. Eddie Hearn, he did promise, and if he can't deliver, well, that's not Tyson Fury's fault. He needs to go out there and fight. He can't just be sitting on the sidelines for forever. Okay? But Eddie Hearn did say that this 28-day deadline was just something that they just put into the contract just so they can have a target. Okay? It could go over by a few days if necessary, and all teams understood that. Now, for me, when I see this from Tyson Fury, I see it as just a wind-up. I think he's just messing about. But if he's serious, if John Fury is serious, apparently he done an interview yesterday with a boxing channel. I don't watch that particular boxing channel for what they've done with Dillian White. I have no time for them whatsoever, how they threw him under the bus. But what I'm hearing by some of the quotes is that John Fury is saying, yet again, that it's Eddie Hearn, it's Frank Warren, and it's Bob Arum, which, by the way, is a bit of a turn-up because before he was just blaming Eddie Hearn. At least now he's throwing Frank Warren and Bob Arum into the mix as well by saying that something about their farts are of like ducks or something, I don't know. But he's saying that the money isn't there. And as I said before, it doesn't matter what money's there. If the money's not there for this Fury-Joshua fight as much as maybe that you want, the money isn't there for any other kind of fight. And whatever money is going to be there, it's going to be 50-50 split between Tyson and Anthony Joshua. So I don't really know what kind of games they're playing. What I do know is that when it came to the whole Deontay Wilder negotiations, the first fight, now this was a Tyson Fury who was out of the ring for 2.5, 3 years and wasn't really doing a boxing training camp to come back. He was doing a fat camp, wasn't he? It was all about him losing weight and getting his mojo back and all that kind of thing. He fought two absolute Uber drivers, no disrespect to any Uber drivers out there, but he fought two journeymen, and then he went over to America and took on Deontay Wilder. Out of shape, very inactive, coordination not quite there. Physically, he wasn't there, he was still flabby, but at no point did he complain about being inactive. At no point did he complain about not having his tools sharpened. At no point did anybody complain about that fight. Albeit, John did complain, because John was saying the exact same thing that I said, which was that it's probably a little bit too soon for Tyson. Thankfully, Wilder couldn't box eggs, but it's not a good look when you've got this guy who's gone through everything that he's gone through and goes over to Los Angeles and fights this guy who's knocking people out for fun. It's a silly gamble. It's a silly gamble. Luckily, it paid off for him. Now, of course, when I was saying all that, I got like a lot of stick. John Fury came out a couple of weeks later before the fight and said the exact same thing that I said. Oh, well, yeah, you know what, John's right, yada, yada, yada. Hey, it is what it is. But the point is, there was none of this when it came to negotiations with Deontay Wilder. Even though we were waiting for how long for a date in the venue? I didn't see Tyson Fury put any Tick-Tock signs up on his social media, but he is with Anthony Joshua. I didn't see John Fury and Tyson Fury saying how we need a couple of warm-up fights and tune-up fights and this, that, and the other. Even though he's WBC champion, so he has to fight somebody in the top 15, by the way. He can't just go fight a rematch with Tom Schwartz or Tyson Fury. He can't do that anymore. So who exactly are you going to fight? For me personally, I think if he does walk away from Anthony Joshua and quite literally uses this 3 days as a way to walk away and then try and blame Eddie Hearn, personally, I think the WBC should order Tyson Fury to fight Dillian Whyte. Why not? Would people complain about that? I mean, a lot of people will complain because obviously they want to see the Undisputed fight. But I think outside of that, that should be the logical choice, shouldn't it? There's no restrictions or anything like that. They're both British. It is what it is. People can say but Tyson, he said he's never going to fight in UK soil again. Okay, fine, go over to Gibraltar then. You know, I mean, there's ways around it. Even though he was willing to take on Ajit Cabio or Carlos Takam back in December in London. It is what it is. But some people are saying how he's using this as an excuse to walk away. Now, some of his fans, Tyson Fury could blatantly come out and say, I don't think I'm ready for Anthony Joshua. I'm going to walk away right now because I think if I get in there with Anthony Joshua, he's probably going to knock me out. Tyson Fury could say those words and there will be some fans out there who will go, he's a little kid, isn't he? He's just messing around, isn't he? Oh, he's such a joker. He's such a joker, isn't he? That's what people will do. They will back him up no matter what. I back up Tyson. People know that I see Tyson and Anthony Joshua very, very equally. I really do. I like them both. I support them both. But ultimately, somebody has to take a loss. You can't come out with, for the longest time, always picking the opponent of Anthony Joshua to get the win and saying how Anthony Joshua, he's so easy. On my comeback fight, I can take him. I don't even need to train in the condition that I'm in. I could beat him with one hand tied behind my back. Well, here's the reality of it. If you want to use these 3 days as an excuse to walk away, that, ladies and gentlemen, is a duck. It's a duck. You can't get out of it. You can't get out of it. And I would say exactly the same thing if it was roles reversed and it was Anthony Joshua doing all this, going Tick-Tock Bob, Tick-Tock Frank, Tick-Tock Eddie, and Tyson Fury weren't saying anything. I would say, hey, AJ, it looks like you're ducking here, mate. But the reality is, Joshua ain't saying a word. It looks like he wants to fight. Coming from Team Fury, they're coming up with every excuse in the book so far. Don't get me wrong, they're signing their contract and whatever else. But ultimately, it wouldn't be the first time Tyson's walked away from contracts. He never rematched Vladimir Klitschko. He walked away from the Deontay Wilder third fight. Okay, that contract had expired and they had offered Wilder numerous fight dates. But Team Wilder kept saying no, the network kept saying no and everything else. Tyson Fury said, you know what, screw you, and moved on. But why he didn't fight in December is beyond me. Now, if he thinks he can just go fight a tune-up fight, he's got another thing coming. He's got 2 fights left on his $100 million deal with ESPN and Top Rank. 2 fights left. What fight do you think that ESPN and Top Rank want? Anthony Joshua fights. That's the fights that they want. They don't want any other fight. They want the big money. They want to get a lot of their money, their investment back in Tyson Fury. They want to get that money back. So far, they haven't got it back. They never got it back with Tom Schwartz, Otto Wallin, and a rematch with Deontay Wilder. Don't get me wrong, they would have made a fair bit of money for the Deontay Wilder rematch, but apparently the pay-per-views and everything weren't that great. They weren't too happy about it. But with Anthony Joshua, they're going to make all their money back. So ain't no way that they're going to allow Tyson Fury to go fight a tune-up and then go fight Joshua in their final fight. Because in the rematch, Tyson Fury's a free agent, isn't he? They don't want that. They want both of these fights under their banner. They ain't going to let Tyson Fury walk away, I'm telling you. They ain't going to do it. But ultimately, I think Tyson Fury, he's just messing about with everybody. He knows fine well that even if something isn't presented by this Saturday, it doesn't really matter. Ultimately, it's going to be presented at some point, and whatever the deal is, it's going to be the same for Anthony Joshua. It really is. But so far, it's only really Tyson Fury's team who's kicking off about things. Are they just winding up? Yes, I think so. I think so. But until he officially walks away, that's the only way I can possibly see it, that he's just winding up. But certainly, it don't look good, does it? It don't look good at all. Drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, subscribe, catch you all in the next video.